I wonder if you can preview some of the remarks Biden's going to make tonight at the vigil for victims of gun violence. And he's spoken frequently on the campaign trail in public about the desire for an assault weapons ban. Is that out of the water now that there's divided government?
Well, there's 51 Democratic senators now, so that matters. Like I said, it'll make things a little bit easier. But yes, to your point, is a divided government. But look, far too many Americans are losing their lives and loved ones to gun violence. We are seeing communities being broken up, families being destroyed because of gun violence. And so tonight, the president will join survivors and families impacted by gun violence to deliver remarks at the 10th annual National Vigil for all victims of gun violence. The vigil is a service of mourning and loving remembrance for all who have fallen victim to the ongoing epidemic of gun violence in America. As you all know, as you just mentioned, a little bit about the assault weapons ban, but also the president signed the most significant gun safety legislation in 30 years this summer, but he feels it's not enough. He believes that we need to do more, and he's been very vocal about that these past several months. He continues to call for an assault weapons ban to be passed by the Senate and send it to his desk. So he's never going to stop showing up. He's never going to stop talking about this. He believes that speaking up and making sure that the American public is aware what his priorities are is important as well. And look, and fighting for the scourge of gun violence that is killing our kids, leaving holes in our families, and tearing up communities, tearing our communities apart. So he's going to continue to speak to that.
Thanks, Karine. I want to follow up on the vigil that the president's going to attend tonight. In the wake of the mass shootings in Colorado and Virginia, the president said he wanted to revive his push for the assault weapons ban. Where does that stand? Is he going to push for that in the lane back?
So, look, I just speak a little bit to why the president continues to talk about this, and I spoke about it just a moments ago. He believes that it is incredibly important as president for him to continue to speak to this, for him to continue to put this at the forefront, the importance of getting the assault weapons ban. And so, and he is grateful for the bipartisanship that we saw just months ago on getting that gun reform to really fight gun violence, something that we hadn't seen in 30 years, but he believes we need to do more. And it's not just the legislation, it's also the work that he has done throughout his administration. The president put out the Safer America Plan, which is a roadmap for additional actions needed to reduce gun crime. As part of that, the president continues to call, again, for assault weapons ban to be passed by the Senate. And he believes that is one of the best actions we can take to reduce gun violence and save lives. And the president feels very strongly about that. And whether it's in the next 3 weeks or beyond, the president is not going to take his foot off the gas pedal on getting that done. Again, he's going to continue to talk about that. He's going to continue to make sure that it is a priority for his administration and be very clear with Congress on how important it is to move forward with this. When we saw the assault weapons ban in place 30 years ago in 1994, when the president was very much a big part of getting that done, we did see crimes go down as it relates to that particular bill. And once it's sunset 10 years later, we saw an increase. So he's going to continue to fight for it.
And I hear what you're saying in terms of the timing. I guess part of me is curious about the mechanism. I had a chance to interview incoming Congressman Maxwell Frost, who of course made it a key part of his platform to fight against gun violence. And he has called for a vote on the assault weapons ban in the Senate, saying, quote, "I think it's important to put it up for a vote even if it doesn't pass, because it gets people on record." And I wonder if the president shares that perspective, that it is worth putting it on the floor for a vote, even if you don't have enough votes.
I understand what is being laid out and said to me. Look, the president believes that we need to get something done. That's what he wants. He wants to make sure. Look, he wants to see the Senate get it done. He wants to see, obviously, a vote in the Senate. He wants to make sure, he wants to see the assault weapons ban get done. And he believes that is what's going to save the lives of families and communities across the country.
Okay, thanks. Karine, following up on Kristen's question about the assault weapons ban push from the president, He said specifically on Thanksgiving that he was going to count the votes to see if there were enough votes to do anything during the lame duck. Has he counted the votes? Has he made any determination?
Look, I don't have any determination to share with you at this time. What I can say is the president is committed and believes that we need to get an assault weapons ban. He has been very, very clear about that. He's appreciative of what Congress was able to do with the piece of legislation that got passed just a couple of months ago on making sure that we deal with gun violence in our communities. That was something that we hadn't seen in 30 years, but he believes we need to go further. Again, I tried to explain a little bit about his thinking, about why he continues to talk about this. He believes it's important for him as the President of the United States to have this conversation, to put this at the forefront and continuing to do this because we're seeing what gun violence is doing and how it's destroying our communities and what it's doing to our communities.
Expect him to make a determination on votes in the lame duck in the near future?
Look, there's a lot happening, right, in the next couple of weeks. I just said whether this happens in the next 3 weeks or beyond, this continues to be a priority for this president. Okay.
Karine, sorry to push again one more time to follow up on Kristen and Catherine. I hear what you're saying, that the president has always and will always push for a ban on assault rifles. I think the difference is that he himself went a step further and said, in response to whether that would happen during the lame duck session, he said, I gotta make that assessment as I get in and start counting the votes. So I guess my question is, I know you said a determination hasn't been made, but has he started counting the votes? Are there conversations between him and lawmakers about where they stand?
So look, the president has always been very clear to lawmakers that he has conversations with how important it is to get the assault weapons ban done. That is something that has been continuous and that has happened across his administration, across a couple of months of his administration. That will never stop. I get the question, and I just answered it and said, don't have a determination for you at this time. But what I can say is, it doesn't matter if it's the next 3 weeks or beyond, the president is going to continue to fight for this, right? This is something that is very personal to him. This is something that he worked on as a senator and got done. And let's not forget, we were able to see a gun reform legislation or gun violence, a piece of legislation that's now into law get done, something that we hadn't seen in 30 years. And it was done in a bipartisan way. So the president's going to continue to fight for this. He believes that getting this done, getting the assault weapons ban, is going to save lives and is going to save communities. And so he's going to put this at the forefront, continue to talk about it, and work very hard to get that done.
Question to him was specifically about these next 3 weeks.
I hear you, and I just answered that question.
Can you just tell us whether that process has started to count the votes?
Look, I don't have anything else to preview for you, or if that process has occurred or happened. I hear what you're saying. I am telling you it is a priority for this president. He is going to continue to fight for this, whether it's in the next couple of weeks, right, of this legislative session as we're coming to the end of the year, or beyond. And what I can tell you for sure is he has prioritized this. It is important for him to get this done, and again, it could be the next 3 weeks or beyond. We are going to work very hard to deliver this for the American people.